Hello and welcome to Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 173 for November 17th, 2015. I like it when numbers match up, such as episode 173 for the 17th, but I feel like sometimes it's a bit of a stretch. Anyways, my name is Rainbow Plasma. I am the host and the organizer of the podcast, and today I'm joined by...
Bjorn01, the special guest coordinator. Yeah.
I'm Fluffler Guy, and I am the media manager and the editor for this week for the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was something.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders. As I mentioned, 173 for the 17th. It's almost like it's a thing. Our numbers have gotten too high, guys. Like we can't associate numbers anymore. It just doesn't work. Bird, what are you doing?
Guys,
selecting the document.
And then
I have no idea what's
unselecting.
going. Guys, this episode number is an anagram of my the number that's in my name. Oh my God, Bernd, what are you doing to this?
What is that font? Was that font lobster?
Yes. I saw lobster and I was like, oh, yes, please.
Stop messing around with the Google Doc, Bird.
All right.
For God's sakes.
I got it. I gotta fix it. I'll fix it.
God, that one's the worst one so far.
There you go.
All right. Good
Wow,
enough.
okay.
Ubuntu. All right. So, welcome to the podcast. None of that was seen by anybody but us. So, makes for fantastic radio. Welcome back. We hope you guys enjoyed last week's. Once again, people tweet me about funny things that they hear, and I can't remember a single thing that happened. So, thanks for tweeting us that things were funny. Glad you enjoyed it. Wish I could remember what the heck you were talking about.
Well, White
you crazy
Diamonds was
people.
tweeting at us at one point on the weekend.
Yep.
I guess, someone mentioned, they were like, oh, hey, White Diamonds, I love that podcast you were on that one time. And the White Diamonds, because she's awesome, was like, oh, yeah, that was Cutie Art Crusaders. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
She is a cool person.
Oh, yeah, and then you made the delightful crack, aren't you, the charmer?
I know, right?
Oh.
Look, don't judge me. She's got a beautiful voice.
That's true.
All right, so moving on.
Wow.
I'm taking summer school, guys. Normally, that would be because I did something bad, but it's not. It's because I'm doing something good.
I took summer school once. It's because I was
you were
a
bad?
crappy teenager, and I didn't
Yep.
do my school.
Yeah, there we go. That was it. Yep.
Yep.
I went to
Um,
summer school in Alaska with all the other ingrates.
All the other people who got frozen in the ice for 3 months.
Alaskan summer school is not a happy place to be.
Yeah.
Was it because you like were walking to school and like an avalanche happened and then you got stuck in the snow?
Uphill
And then-
both ways.
Yeah, and then you had to take summer school because it's the only time that like people can actually walk to school in Alaska.
Have you know, it was summer school, so it was slightly okay weather. Thank you very much. But I've actually walked home from school uphill both ways, and it wasn't pleasant. But that's because there's like a hill in between my house and the bus stop.
Yeah, so you'd walk uphill, then downhill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both ways.
Yeah.
And then when I
So-
went home, we walk uphill again.
So, okay. So, the reason why I'm taking summer school is because, well, first of all, I did miss a course, so I guess there was some bad there. But I figured while I'm going to be taking a course in the summer in order to make up for that, I might as well get a couple of other courses out of the way and make my final year of university much easier. So, basically committing to that plan in the next couple of months, which means, unfortunately, that I can't take any super fantastic trips in the summer to see you guys for a week.
Mistakes.
I mean, I'm gonna go to BronyCon because that's like just like one day off school, and I might not even have school on Fridays. But yeah, I'm gonna have to organize the trips at other times. But it'll be okay. It means that I graduate on time, which is good because I want to actually get into my job and not spend the rest of my life in school. So that'd be nice.
I'm okay
yeah.
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just so tired because I took a year off in between high school and university, and because I took a quote unquote year off to do my co-op job. It's kind of like I'm turning 21 in a couple of weeks, or 2021. I'm turning 22 in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, all right, I'm about done now. Like, I want to be done, but I still
All right,
got like
youngin'.
2 years.
Yeah, you youngin. You
Ted,
youngins.
you graduated at like 22, didn't you?
I graduated at 22, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you were born in March.
Yeah. Hey.
Both
Hey,
need
Bernd.
to check your privilege.
How is 24 treating you?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Let me tell you, 26 Sweet.
We'll look
We're all
forward to
old
those
farts.
years.
Yeah.
They're all old farts. Joel is no, Joel's not the oldest. You're the oldest, Ted.
I'm the oldest, followed by Joel.
Joel's also
Joel
26.
I think 2 months behind me or something like that. I don't
2.5
know.
months. Yes, you're correct. He's born
Yeah.
at the end of May.
See, it almost worked out because we almost could have used that. I'm a month older than you, or no, I'm a year older than you. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. It wouldn't have worked out.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all. Yeah. Well, our birthdays are actually spread out pretty interestingly. You're born mid-March, which is spring, and then Joel is born at the end of May, and then Bernd, you're born in August, and I'm born at the end of November. So it's pretty evenly split out, I'd say.
Diversity.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's anything that the CAC podcast has, it's diversity.
Yeah.
Say the 4 white men.
Hey,
The
man, we
4
got, like,
20-year-old white men.
we're from different parts of the world of different, like...
3 from North America. Diversity.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know what we do
Canadia's
have
basically
burned?
like another continent anyway.
You know what we do have burned?
Yes.
We have a diversity in art.
This
Yeah.
is true.
And we're going to start with Ted's art piece.
We have a diversity of heart too. That was bad. I'm sorry.
Something diversity of fart. All right, let's go into art pieces.
Thank you. Okay. So
Art
on that
fart
note,
75.
yeah. The piece that I'm bringing today is called "Fitting in Time for Practice" by Dark Flame 75.
No, that's
friend of the
incorrect.
show.
You said it wrong.
Art Fart 75.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, you could shorten it to just be fart 75.
That's not short.
But it entertains me.
I know. Too much.
Soon, Chet.
This is a piece of Sunset Shimmer that I actually commissioned during a charity live stream for Celebi on Saturday. Was it last Saturday?
Saturday.
Last Saturday.
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be last Saturday.
Two
It'd be the
Saturdays
Saturday
ago, then.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Time. How does it
yeah.
work?
I told him to draw bacon hair, and he drew her with a violin, and it looks amazing. And it's not like it doesn't look like any of his other pieces. And
Sorry,
it's
let's
like
back up here. Bacon hair?
bacon hair. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like bacon hair.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I've
Have you
actually never heard that
her
before, and I
called
kind of just
bacon
accepted
hair?
it.
What kind of bacon are you guys eating? I
America's a
am
weird
concerned. I am very concerned.
I thought it was widely accepted that she's called bacon hair.
This is news to me.
Oh, I know why. Because it doesn't look like Canadian bacon.
No.
That's it. God, it makes
we
so much
still
sense
make the
now.
exact same kind of bacon
I'm
you
pretty
guys
sure
do.
that's not true. That's why it's
We
called
just
Canadian
don't
bacon.
call Canadian bacon
and that's why
Canadian
your
bacon.
pizza is gross.
We don't put pea-meal bacon on pizza. I mean, I'm sure some people do,
you need
but
to
it's not a
calm
thing.
down with the Canadianisms.
It's the only difference is that we call it a different thing.
Because it's
Yeah,
Canada. I mean,
We
French
still-
people don't
we
call
still have the
French
same
fries French
exact-
fries. Let's be honest.
Pig's
No,
butt bacon.
They call it poutine.
What?
French fries.
It's a completely different thing.
I know.
All right.
This
So
week in
what I'm
Trigger
establishing
Rainbow
is
Plasma.
Sunset Shimmer is Canadian.
But she's voiced by a Canadian, so you know that's the
Well,
thing.
yeah. So you better respect. Ooh.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Let's go scared.
I think she's cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not on the waifu train, so that says something.
I know this is weird.
Yeah.
Are you hopping aboard the waifu train?
No, I just think that she's cute in this picture.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to go from 0 to waifu, okay? So talk more about the
yeah.
piece, Ted. What did you like? What did you not like? Try not to focus entirely on the bacon.
Oh, but it's so delicious. No,
Don't
I don't
eat
know.
hair.
I think it just came together really well. I like his style of shading in this piece. I like his choice of kind of setting and composition for the piece. I like how cute he made Sunset Shimmer. That's really why I brought this up.
The truth is revealed.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I what I enjoy in particular about this piece is this sense of like an incomplete background. Like, you know, we've got a bunch of white space around the piece, and there he uses it in interesting ways, right? Like it's brushed out in certain areas, and then the chair just kind of breaks away from it, and so it's kind of like a half complete background, and it gives a really interesting messy vibe.
it makes it look like a study.
Yeah.
So it actually brings up something to mind. I can't remember the last time I've seen Dark Flame actually draw like a humanized or what is this, Equestria Girls like artwork. And I'm actually quite impressed with his take on it. It's really good. But the last time that I know of seen him draw anything kind of like human related was like maybe the Anthro Anthro Scratch he did a little while ago, and then also some like of his art studies where he's actually like drawing like the human figure, you know, like in art class. But other than that, like this is something new for him, and I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, he's not a very common human drawer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But he did a good job, like you said. Like it looks really good, considering.
And it's a unique take on the Equestria Girl style too. Like it's not like he like just looks just like Equestria Girls, you know, like from the movie. It's kind of like his artistic take on it. Like yes, it is Equestria Girls, but like how like the face is drawn, like where the nose and like mouth is, right? And body proportions too. Like the boots aren't going halfway up the knee and things like that. Or more like to like his take on this.
That just means she's a casual when it comes to finding good boots.
Yeah, dude,
my boots go up to my thighs.
I was gonna say the taller your boots are, the more practiced and well versed you are in boot.
I just wear one boot.
Oh my goodness. Boots jokes aside, and what is it? And also like kind of moving away from style choice and like how he drew the character, his color choices in this, like looking more like artistically at this, I feel like is done really well as well. And so he has kind of like the green background and like a blue floor, and then there's yellow and red like in her hair that kind of colors this haze around her, like the character and like the subject. You'll notice that like in between her legs and legs of the chairs, and then behind her, like behind the back of the chair, and it kind of gives a warm light, like just like basically like a warmness just around this, like the center of this this picture.
Well, the green does a really good job of kind of popping out the red in her hair, because green and red are complements, but also the type of green that he chose too. You know, it's a very subdued kind of not hugely saturated green, and so it tends to when it competes with its complement red, it tends to kind of push back a little bit and be treated more like a background color, whereas the red immediately pops forward. And so it was a really good usage of the different types of green, so that things didn't look like, oh my gosh, all the green is popping out as well.
It's kind of like a warm top with that green and like her hair, and then the bottom of the piece is kind of like is cooler with like the shadow and like her leggings and stuff.
Yeah, I really like her legging color, but that's just because I happen to really like that color of like teal. So
Yeah. I mean, and that being said, like, she doesn't like pop out like crazily from the piece. Like, you definitely notice her, and like obviously she's the main focus of the piece, but like it doesn't clash with the colors behind her.
Yeah, like her head pops out, but that's about it, right? Her body is just kind of there, and it's very, like I said, subdued compared to the head.
There's a lot of neat gradients going on as well, like in the leg and then in other places in the background, like in her character.
Yeah, and good job on the instrument.
Viola.
I mean, it's a violin, but it's probably not a viola. But I don't know.
It's not a viola. We did this in the chat. People were like, "Is it a viola?" And he's like, "No, it's a violin."
Guys, it's just a double bass. It's a non-standing version of a double bass.
A chincello.
Yeah.
Chinchilla.
Chinchilla.
Don't try to play chinchillas, kids. Don't.
Do you have experience?
Look, back in my day, I played a mean chinchilla.
I can't tell if she's playing the like upper part of the strings, though. I don't know if you do that.
So
I think she is.
Here's something that I wanted to say. When I'm looking at this piece, and man, it's hard to when I can't download it. Sorry, that's just me being bitter. I can't. So when you look at like the top of the violin, right? The brown part is part of the violin, and then the orangey part is her hand wrapping around the neck of the violin. but like I need to zoom in to really get that. There's something about the way it's portrayed which makes my brain go like derp, because her arm goes up into the violin. It looks like she's wearing a glove. Do you see what I mean?
Nope.
Yeah.
Like the brown
Yeah.
is like a glove, and then like her fingers are poking out the top kind of, but then it doesn't match because her fingers are wrapped, so it like makes me feel really weird.
I associate the brown enough with the violin that I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just for me, I feel like there's something weird about how perfectly the arm goes into the top part of the violin, which makes my brain just go like, what is things in this part of the piece? So there was something that kind of confused me about that. And it's still like when I look at it, I kind of have to like wrap my head around the fact that like where her hand is versus the violin. Just a note that I wanted to make.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the like her fingers are not very well like detailed and defined.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing at all. It's like because it's kind of a loose painting sketch.
Yeah.
Well, painting,
Also
I
just
guess.
screw detailing fingers. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to like, pattern matching and stuff. And like, Max, I guess your brain kind of picks up on the violin head as like a glove as part of like its trying to match patterns and stuff like that. And like,
Yeah.
we can kind of see fingers in this blob of colors.
Yeah.
Because we kind of associate it with that.
Maybe I'm just too cool for you guys, and I see too many fingerless gloves that, I just associate these fingerless gloves. You know what I mean? Like, I just
definitely
see too many people with swagger around me wearing fingerless gloves, so it's on the mind.
Status thing.
Anyways,
I don't know.
It looks good. I really like it. The only other thing that I would say about it is not really a thing that he necessarily did, because this is kind of in the show, but I enjoy the warmth of her skin color.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was that skin color and not so pasty. But
Aw.
Says
We can
your
arrange
OC.
that.
yeah,
We'll
you
stick you
said
in a
says
tanning
my
booth.
OC. Shush you.
Well,
I need to go tanning, but it's
Yeah.
winter.
there's tanning booths. You can
Those are
get
bad for you.
orange.
Those are bad for
Become,
you.
become
orange,
orange,
bro.
No, thanks.
Match the
I'm
color of
good.
your hair.
Look, okay, I don't gym and I don't laundry, so I'm not going to start tanning.
Do you even
either.
gym, bro? I don't gym,
certainly,
brah.
certainly not lawyering up either.
Dude,
All
I
right,
gym super hard.
let's go on to the next piece,
Yeah.
which is mine. And this one might look familiar to people. It's called Better Than Snow by My Magic Dream. And the reason why it might look familiar is because we brought up a piece recently in which My Magic Dream depicted a very similar thing, and it is called Siesta by My Magic Dream. I'm sorry to whoever's editing this week. You're going to have to put up both of them. But anyways, I wanted to bring this one up again because I really, really enjoy what we talked about before about the juxtaposition of the pink and the green sky. And what I think this piece did that was more emphasized was the light coming through the trees and the light coming through the leaves. These characters, Rainbow Dash, and I guess Rainbow Dash's Rule 63 version, the male version of Rainbow Dash, you can see that they're much more in shadow than in the other piece. And so there's a lot of similarities that I like, but there's also a lot of differences that I really like as well.
Once again, I like the color choices.
Yeah.
In better than in both of them, honestly.
Well, I think it's actually somewhat similar to what we were talking about in the Sunset Shimmer piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking again about it's not quite as much because the red in the Sunset Shimmer was very red and the green was very subdued. This one's a little bit more equal in its intensities of the red and green. But again, you've got the red popping forward and the green that tends to push back more, especially as you get lower down in the piece and the green gets less and less intense.
Well, it's that direct complement versus like a softer complement, right?
Right.
So both colors, both the red and the green, have been pushed and shifted a little bit more towards blue. So like the red is a little bit more kind of like moves a little towards like violet and pinky, and then the green is more of a like a moving towards cyan. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Another thing that I enjoy kind of about this piece was the coloring of the characters. You know, I mentioned that they're in shadow, and something that was cool to me. This has always been cool to me, but the way that our brain interprets colors and shadows, and how we immediately associate shadows with dimming a certain color, and therefore in our brains we can translate what we see and what we know about shadows and come up with the actual color of what the character's supposed to be. Now, in this piece, we're given hints, right? Because there is light that comes through the leaves and shows you the true colors of Rainbow Dash. Mm-hmm. But even when you look at the purple, you can still tell that, oh, look, they're in shadow, and they're supposed to be blue, but they just so happen to be in shadow. That's why they're portrayed as purple and pink.
It also looks a lot to me like filtered light coming through the leaves or bouncing light off of all that like red, and so it's like reflecting and then onto them and then mixed with
so the pink in the leaves comes off on them as well with the reflected light. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love the reflected lighting in this piece. Just like all the pinks and like reds and stuff on them, because there are like these splotches of like actually like white light, but there's also splotches of the reflected lighting. So good.
Yeah. They have rosy butts.
Another thing that I thought was very subtle in this piece, what was great, was that this piece gains a lot of depth from the little tiny depth cues that come when the characters are covered or uncovered by things. So Rainbow Dash's hair, I'm going to call it Rainbow Dash and Rainbow Blitz for the male version. Rainbow Dash's hair is covered at the very top by the blossoms, but then you can see her in front and behind of the branch that she's on, and then her tail goes in front of Rainbow Blitz's arms, and then Rainbow Blitz's wings kind of separate him from the other leaves up top, and there's all these little tiny depth cues, you know what I mean? Like little tiny things that place the character in a certain portion of the piece forward and backwards, and I really like that. I think it's a cool thing.
I really like My Magic Dream's style. It's not just in this piece; it's in like a lot of her different pieces, and his pieces. Sorry, yeah, I don't know. I like it. I don't know what it is about it. It could be like the more rougher outlines, and like different, thicknesses of outlines and stuff, but I really enjoy it.
I think it's the roughness for me.
Yeah. I think the roughness is really good. I know from my perspective, My Magic Dream definitely depicts facial expressions in a really good way. And that doesn't just affect someone like me, which like focuses on faces and like make or break for me, usually faces. I'm sure it also affects lots of other people as well who might not notice it. So, the faces, I mean, look at the faces in this one. They're super cute. Like Rainbow Dash is lying down on her front hooves and her cheeks are getting all pressed up because, obviously that's realistic and that happens when you lie on something with your face. And it's super cute. And she's got like puffy little cheeks and a scrunchy little nose. And I think that's really cute. So I think that contributes as well.
Yeah. Those cheeks are so adorable.
Yeah. Also, something that My Magic Dream does that is fairly unique that I haven't seen too much is the pupils are often white with a black outline. And if you look at a lot of his pieces, they seem to kind of come and go depending on the piece. But it's a very interesting choice. And I can't say that I would immediately hear of that idea and go, that's a good idea. I probably would look at that and be like, whoa, that doesn't sound like a good idea. But when I see it in action in these pieces, it looks good.
Yeah, there's a couple artists that do that. I like that style of like leaving them white or coloring them. It's another artist that comes to mind. I think his name is Soul Spade. You remember Soul Spade? Yeah, Soul Spade uses the kind of like white pupils. I really dig that.
It really emphasizes the color in the eyes.
Yes, the irises. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
In both cases that you were talking about, whether or not it be white or colored in, both of them kind of emphasize the colors in the eyes, which is a cool choice.
Totes.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough to figure out what the actual differences are, right? Like what a colored or a blank iris would evoke, or the kind of feels it would give off compared to, say, like a regular black iris. But I know it looks different.
Well,
Did you just use the word feels?
Look, no, it was the plural of feel. It was totally,
Sure.
totally legitimate.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're right. You're right. Soul Spade does do that.
when
Good
there's
example, Brent.
when there's like a colored iris with like a white pupil, like it still looks kind of like a light like reflection, and so like we don't see it as like off-putting. But once like the pupil, or what is it, the iris and like the color in the eyes, which is what we instantly recognize, starts to become like more subdued or become like less notable, or is like that's pushed more towards white, then that's when it starts to look odd for us. Because like it gives off different notions and things of like having like a glassy eye, like eye look or something like that. Right. But when the pupil gets colored, it's obviously like not like we wouldn't see that in real life, but since it's like we see that and go, okay, that looks kind of odd, but then we like it because we can still see like the color and associate that with like the eye and life and things. So
right. Yeah. One of the biggest revelations for me when it came to art, because ponies are fairly simple, and we were vector artists, so we had to kind of deconstruct ponies into their individual pieces. When it came to eyes, there were 3 or 4 parts. And what I found amazing was how much what we would call, I suppose, the eye spots, the eye shine, those white little circles or ellipses that they have in the show. It is amazing. It is incredible to me how much those do to making eyes look like eyes. They're so important. When you take out those in the show, the eyes immediately look lifeless. I remember
Correct.
You can see that effect also. I hang out a bunch on Shinoda and Agamemnensar and Chira's stream that they do weekly. And Shinoda does the eyes, and so he'll do the eyes in stages. And when you get to that point where the eye is complete except for those little ellipses, the characters look dead. And he puts in 2 little well-placed like ovals of white, and they come to life. It's incredible. I've always found that so fascinating.
Yep. When you're in art school, that's one of the first things you learn about like how to give your character's life, or like give your character's eyes life specifically, because that shine ends up being extremely important. I think we talked about it a really, really long time ago on the podcast.
A long time ago, yeah.
But like eyes that are full of life when you're actually like alive, like your eyes are like wet, and so they will give that strong reflection. And then like there's also a lot of emotion tied with that. Like when you get sad, your eyes become more reflective-y because there's more water and things like that. But like when people like die, or animals die, or things like become dead, their eyes will gloss over, become cloudy, and lose moisture, and they will not shine. And so that we associate that even very subconsciously. I believe in art it's found that like even if you don't know that fact, it is extremely subconscious, like even for like kids. Even for kids and like people who wouldn't like have like life experiences to understand it, think like, oh man, that looks creepy, that looks deathly, looks zombie like even.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some things that as human beings we have instincts for, right? So
well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Not even like related to death, but just like if you look at other people's eyes, like there's always reflected lighting in their eyes. It's not circular most of the time. Depends on what you're looking at, but yeah.
Well, much like all the other aspects of the characters in the show, they're emphasized. They're exaggerated in a way. Much like the size of the eyes themselves. If you were to have something with gigantic eyes like that, then it would be like freakish.
Like the over exaggeration with those shines too ends up like exaggerating certain expressions. So you'll find like kittens or babies, like since they have smaller eyes, they're very shiny. And so you notice like the shines on like a baby's eyes or a small cat's eyes or something a lot more than what you would on like a normal person.
Aren't human eyes the exact same size?
I don't.
Yeah, I think they basically stay the same size.
It's either eyes or ears. No, because ears keep growing. That's the thing about ears. Ears never stop growing.
Yeah.
But eyes, it's like you're born with the same sized eye. Like your eye doesn't grow, so you just grow into your eyes.
Roughly the same size.
So yeah.
More or less, yeah. I think it's something that's like it grows the least during your lifespan.
Yeah.
Righto.
Yeah, eyes grow the least, but definitely like a baby with like normal human sized, like adult sized eyes would be freaky.
Well,
Dude,
babies are
have
freaky.
you seen many? Yeah, I was gonna say, have you seen many babies? Kind of freaky.
All right.
This week
So-
on CAC, we hate babies.
We're just feeling sassy.
That's sad.
Speaking of sassy, I'm going to sass you guys into the next art piece.
Oh my.
Whoa,
Oh, is that my art piece?
It is.
Mhm.
Who else would it be, Burnt?
Mr. Sass, man.
Our new fourth amazing host, Edwardo.
Sassafras.
Edwardo Sassafras. He's been hidden this entire time. He's actually been on every single Cutie Art Crusaders episode. He's just never had anything to say.
So, the piece that I want to feature for this week is called Celestia by Sisu. I don't
Please
believe-
make Eduardo's icon and make it just you with a big mustache.
Yeah. The like disguise glasses and the big nose.
Yeah, Groucho
Yeah.
Marx. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying something about Celestia.
Yeah. It's this art piece. It's lovely. It's
Oh,
pretty.
I see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I don't think we featured this piece before. I know I've had it in my favorites for a long time.
I've never heard of Sisu before.
Okay,
So
cool.
there you go.
Sweet. Yeah, I like this art piece. How I found this was actually we were featuring Nadnerb, and I was looking through his gallery, and he did a study on this piece, like in his own style, but with the same color scheme and composition.
That's cool.
And I was like, oh, like this is really cool. This is pretty, and then it led me to this piece, which I hadn't seen a lot by this artist before. And I really like this piece, like a lot of things about it, mainly the color and like side, like profile composition and things, and like the hair, so majestically going up to the top left. But there's an interesting duality going on that I want to point out, and that's like her hair is kind of flowing up towards top left, and her head is tilted upwards, like her horn is pointing upwards, so it's very regal. And then she has this very, very bright violet light source in the bottom left that's like coming from like a not parallel, but the other word that's not parallel, whatever.
Perpendicular.
Perpendicularly
Hey.
from that angle. So yeah, it's just like it's a really interesting spot to put a light source to like light her underneath. And it's almost something you would see with like villains, like Disney villains, like there's like a dark spooky light like underneath them, lighting them from below. But it creates kind of like a cool, dramatic, almost like play like sense of light. I mean, play's the wrong word, but you know what I mean, kind of like cartoony, whatnot.
Yeah. She does look devious in this. Not quite villainous, maybe, but she's got something going on.
Yeah,
She's
it
not
was
saying.
definitely with like the expression, kind of the light, like kind of the awkward smile, the half open eye. Like there's definitely like there's definitely a strong expression going on. But yeah.
Yeah, like I'm trying to find the right word to describe the combination of what the lighting does and her facial expression, and I can't right now.
Yeah,
But
I don't have a good vernacular for that either.
yeah, but I think what you guys are getting at is a very valid point. Like the feel of this piece, which is contributed to in several different ways, is definitely mischievous in a way. Like it's not the traditional Celestia that we know from the show. That's very either stoic or jokey or whatever. This is a completely different emotional set that you get from this piece. And you're right. It's not quite villainous, right? She's not evil, but there's something dark about it. There's something not wrong about it, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's something off about like this character
Yeah.
and the way that she's portrayed, and then the lighting that makes such a huge
So
difference.
some cool, actually additional narrative to this piece is in the description. There's a little poem here, if I can read it. It says, so quote, "Once did a pony who shone like the sun look out on her kingdom and sigh. She smiled and said, 'Surely there is no pony so lovely and so well beloved as I.'" Which apparently is from Lullaby for a Princess by Ponyphonic. And so like that does kind of set almost what's the word? Not vague, but vain, kind of like a vain tone of like how lovely she is and like powerful. I mean, she is like a goddess. Kind of seen in the pony world.
Right, and when you invoke visions of power, you get that sense of vanity in there, right?
Yeah,
like
this
you got
is
power.
very like mirror on the wall type of expression.
Very good comparison. Yes, I would
Yeah.
agree with that for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so it's this weird position because it's a bit it's not quite evil, but it might be a bit naughty. She's not being a villain, but she's not being good either. Whatever she's
Yeah.
doing here, whatever her intentions are, they're not good. But I wouldn't say that they're diabolical.
Some Rainbow Ten McHumpter Fumpter back there.
So
You
yeah.
never know though with Celestia.
you never know. She's got a whole brain up there in her head. So
So
yeah.
do most of us.
Look, that's discriminatory.
Yeah, this is lies told to me by the state. There is no skeleton in my body. I would have known this by now.
Everybody
been
knows that my brain
sufficiently
is
spooked.
in my butt and it's split into two hemispheres, left and right.
This is true for you.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Cheekospheres, if you will.
Cheek is oh man.
Something I absolutely love in this piece is actually Celestia's wing. It's so fluffy and poofy, and it just looks so regal.
It's very
not
stylized.
it's not well defined like someone like Virastiper, or is it someone I don't even know who else who would individually detail out the feathers and but it's it's different. It's neat. It's a different take.
Yeah.
Clumps.
A word that I would call it is it looks very ornate, meaning that it is very designed. If you look at her golden jewelry, I was gonna say her Celestia bib. I don't have a more official word for it, but her chest plate. There you go. It's done in kind of gold and has those designs on as well. And her wing kind of reflects that. It mirrors it almost. It does the reverse curl to it.
It's a really big jewel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Never
I
noticed
love
that before.
The color reflection of the giant blue jewel and the blue in her hair. There's a lot of really good color harmony like that in this piece, especially with the pink light source and the pink in her hair and also the pink in her eye. Everything it fits this kind of three color scheme, blue, violet, and then I think it's just really blue and violet. Where's the third one? I suppose the white in her coat, but
Yeah, I mean, it's funny
well,
because
the gold in
white-
her, I guess, kind of takes out a third. But
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
very
white
kind of
is the
blue to
absence of
violet.
color, but it's still a difference from right. It's a hue difference, it's a lightness difference, it's a saturation difference from the blues and the purples that you were mentioning. So I think it could be considered a
Well-
third color in the piece.
White's not an absence of color. White's the presence of all colors.
Not in pigment sense. Depends on whether or not you're talking about pigment or lighting.
Let's not get into the RGB versus CMYK argument here.
Right, because you are
yeah.
right if you're talking about light.
You can say that. White is the
we have
yeah.
white is the presence of all light and all spectrums, yet white is also the absence of hue, because neither black nor white are considered hues.
Yes.
But that semantics. I was trying to flush out what I was talking about, the kind of color scheme. I'm trying to look at this more closely, and there is that really strong pink and violet, and then it does there's a lot of blue, and there's looking at her hair where it's really illuminated and thinking blue, but it actually starts to push a little towards green, but not green obviously, but blue green, which is is what we called cyan. So there's that bright cyan to kind of the blue, then into purple and the shadows of her hair, and then into the bright pink. So there's a very analogous kind of purple blue color scheme in there that's being played with. But
yeah, it's funny you
very
brought up
harmonious.
Sorry, it's funny that you brought up CMYK because there I see cyan, I see magenta, I see yellow, and I see black in this piece. So yeah, there you go.
I mean, I feel that's a loose connection though, because the cyan that you see there is definitely not printer cyan, and the yellow you see is most definitely not printer yellow.
Yeah,
but kind of
it is
similar
a cool
color
little
schemes
fun
there. Yeah.
thing. So
yeah.
That is yeah. I will say, as a critique, not a huge fan of the watermark.
Oh, the Sisu 15 at the bottom.
Yeah, not a huge fan.
It's kind of bright,
I like the ones that are drawn in the same brush as the piece is used in. As if the artist finishes the piece and then just with the same brush puts a little name somewhere. But that's my own preference. So
I kind of look at this as like a poster, and I feel like from a poster standpoint, like yeah, I could see like the watermark, or like not the watermark, but like
Sure.
the artist like name and date, especially if you were to like sell this as like a print maybe, and like you want to kind of get your name out there.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I feel like it could be more subtle.
It happens with like art collaborations, art packs, and stuff like that. They'll usually label pages and like different things like that with the, like I understand where you're coming from, but like just because it's a trope of a certain type, I still don't like that. You know what I mean? Like I prefer
It's fine.
the other
You're
type
allowed-
of.
You're allowed to not like it. It's
I'm not allowed burned. I must fight for my right to party. All right, you guys have anything else to talk about in this piece?
No.
I wish I had a
I
webcam
think
on
we-
right now because I'm like doing a dance and I have I have like ants in my pants this episode. I don't know. Have you guys
you're-
noticed? Yes, you have. I'll answer that for you.
You're fighting for your right to party with the
I am.
dance.
I am. Look,
Yeah.
don't judge. We all hang out. We all hang out with bad crowds sometimes.
I guess ending words. I just enjoy this piece a lot. I enjoy its color. I enjoy its profiled composition. And Sisu is a pretty cool artist.
Yeah.
My final notes are the facial expression is really dang good at conveying an emotion,
Super dank.
and her horn is really long, so I approve.
Yeah. You jelly?
Oh my god, old memes from times past.
I know. I guess my final word on this piece is that I like kind of the split of the colors, because like the blues and the purples kind of like split out in the center, and I don't know. I really like the colors.
Even the light sources too, with like that violet in the bottom, and then there is technically like a lighter light source in like the front to slash like top right, lighting the blue over here, like body. So.
Yeah.
Burned, you already had your final say. You're breaking Final Jeopardy. You're never going to go into the bonus round.
I'm a rebel.
Speaking of the bonus round,
Question
Screw you,
time.
hey.
This one is for $400. And it's from South Williams, and it says, cats or dogs?
Burn, do you have a very
See,
opinionated
Yeah,
response
this
to
is
this?
stupid. Well, first off, this is a stupid question because cats suck.
Wow.
Why
How does it feel to be hated by literally the entire internet?
like it boggles my mind to like as this is a question because like I don't know why you would never like not own a dog.
Wow.
Because I don't want to. I don't want to take care of another conscious being.
You'd rather take care of like an
Myself,
unconscious,
yes.
like evil being.
What? Wow.
I mean, that's the other side of the spectrum, right? Is just like
Or just not taking care of something.
so you like neither.
Yeah, I look. I have a hard enough time taking care of myself. All right.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's why I'm not having kids for years. That's why I'm not having pets for years. So,
Dogs are sweet.
all right. You like dogs. That's totally fair. That is totally fair. Ted?
I like smaller furry creatures like guinea pigs better than cats or dogs.
All right. Well,
offense to
Ted's not
cats or
going on to
dogs.
Final Jeopardy. So you didn't answer the question.
You gotta
Oh,
pick
it's
cats
so hard
or
to
dogs.
choose.
It's the question.
Dats
there
or
are-
cogs? Come on.
Dats or cogs? Okay, cogs.
All right. There you go.
I
Yeah.
have no idea what a dat is.
Dat cog.
Ass.
Dat cog. Dat cog dough.
Oh man, cat dog. There you go. That's your answer. Cat dog. Do you guys ever watch that show?
Hmm?
Do you guys ever watch the show Cat Dog?
Yeah, regrettably, I don't remember it from when I was young.
Ted, did you ever
Silly.
watch the show Cat Dog?
Hmm?
All right. Well, Ted's died.
show?
Ted's died. Fantastic. We're gonna keep
Rip
moving
Ted.
on here.
Now, before we move on, like all joking aside, rip to all cat owners. Like I apologize. I just like it's funny because I have a lot of friends who are cat owners and really love cats, and so like I always have these polarizing arguments where it's like cats are nice and they're soft and like I love petting them and they're great, but like I would just I really like dogs and like the companionship they offer. And like the type of things that I want to do with a pet, I can't do with a cat. Like I want to go out with my pet and like go to a park or go hiking with my pet, like literally as a friend, like as an extension of the family. Where I feel like cats kits. I feel like cats.
Kits.
I feel like cats lack that diversity and that like being able to like take them and go like enjoy life with them as like an extension of yourself, like as like
Right.
a friend or another part of you, which is how I look at like pets, part of the family. Where cats are very, like you're basically like you're indoors. You purr and I pet you.
Well, I
And
mean,
it's
cats are like teenagers, so you wouldn't want to.
Yeah, you don't want
Live with
you
another
can't
teenager.
live with them, and you can't shoot them either. So,
Wow.
no, I'm
Well
kidding.
then.
That was like that kid's joke. Yeah, it didn't work. But yeah, no, just, like,
Bird the dog shooter.
I love cats when other people own them.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
All
That's
right,
fair.
I think
I
that
mean-
was this question.
I mean, thank you. I grew up with a dog. I had a little Jack Russell Terrier, which basically meant that it was a nightmare. But I grew up with a dog, and I agree. The companionship was nice. It's too bad that my dog was just dumb as bricks.
Oh.
And yeah, so I mean, I like dogs, but as I've gotten older, like I also like cats. My sister and her boyfriend have recently moved in together, and they have a cat. Well, he had a cat, so now they have a cat. And she's nice. She's very cute. I think cats are incredibly cute.
Yeah.
They can be very affectionate in a kind of cold way. Although I will say that the thing that really turns me off of cats is when the cat climbs on top of you and you're like, oh, you're so cute. And then they like completely disregard your own comfort by digging their claws into you. And then like you try to get them off and then they're like, whoa, I'm moving. Let me dig my claws in harder. And basically it's a horrible time. So
Funny.
I'm going to stick with my viewing cats via the internet.
Well, there's quality of pets there too, right? And so like there's cruddy dogs and there's cruddy cats, but there's awesome cats and awesome dogs. Like,
Well, I mean, the thing is,
You know what
like, I like looking at. I think cats are really cute. I don't mind looking at the internet, but I don't think I would ever pick to get a cat. Like, if I had a significant other who wanted a cat, I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure, fine. But like, I feel like I'd be more inclined towards a dog because of a lot of the reasons that you were saying, Bernd, right? Like, there's a lot of companionship there and things like that. So, if I were to get a pet, which I don't plan on getting a pet, if I were to get one, then it would be a dog, probably.
yeah.
But I like both, I think, for their own reasons.
Yeah. Anywho.
Cool.
Turd Ferguson?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, it's you. You got to give an answer.
Oh.
You never give an answer.
Yeah. Okay. I do like dogs quite a bit. It's the same like what Bern was saying. It's like, companionship and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not about to get either a cat or a dog.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a lot of effort initially to kind of take care of it, and like it's not just the initial effort, it's also that you kind of have to keep, taking care of it over the years.
Like 10 years, yeah.
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 And it's kind of hard to travel and stuff. So,
It's like having a
yeah.
kid. So,
Mm-hmm.
come out with it, Ted. You don't like cats.
There are cats that I like.
There are definitely
let me-
cats
let me-
that I like too.
Ted has
Yeah,
told me. Ted has told me in conversations off air that he doesn't like cats, so I'm not letting him go.
Can't get off this
Let-
easily, Ted.
Yeah, okay. I mean, no, I like most furry things that have a good personality, but a majority of cats that I have met do not have a good personality.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
Joel
Joel
it's
has
funny because
two
it's like
cats.
biased. Yeah, it's biased answers from like dog likers, And
I'm
then,
going to tell you right now, if you were to ask this question to Joel, he would tell you dogs 100% of the way because he hates his two cats.
Yeah.
So yeah. Joel got two cats like 6 months ago, and I think he severely regrets that decision. I think my favorite part was they got a cat, and then they were like, this cat's kind of annoying. It's cute and we love it, but like, man, it's kind of a handful to take care of. Let's get a second one.
yeah.
I mean, they did it in hopes that the cats would entertain each other and like be less annoying, but I just find that logic very funny.
funny.
So now they have two cats that drive them crazy.
Cat owners
Yep.
everywhere hate us now.
Yeah, so basically the entire podcast is dogs.
This is fine.
So, yeah. All right, so the second question, and this one's worth $500. Nobody won, by the
Whoa.
way. We all lost. Sorry,
Oh.
you're all $400 in the hole that you owe me. So, the second question, which you can make back your losses, says, do you ever find professional art that is technically excellent to be boring? And if so, why do you think that is?
Yes. Sometimes. And I don't know. I like interesting things in art. I don't necessarily look for technical accuracy, or technical excellence, whatever that means. But like, I like interesting things like for instance, color choices, like, I don't know, Iopichio's stuff with the really saturated colors and stuff like that. Interests me more, I guess, than technical excellency in art.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I'm of a similar opinion. I like art that like piques my interest in like visually, and I go like, man, like this is really cool for like X and Y reason, and there are things that like either make me think about it or whatever. And sometimes when you're talking about like quote unquote professional art, I don't know if we're talking about like art history, professional, like art master type stuff, or just like professional, like say like a magic card or something that is like professional commission. Like there's a lot of magic card artwork that someone has paid a lot of really good money for, but it's just bad art. It's like technically impressive and like sweet, and like it's a well illustrated giant crab thing, but it's just bad. Like it doesn't pique my interest at all. It's not interesting like visually when it's small, and it's not any more visually interesting when it's large. I couldn't care that it was like done in a really like professional and well done manner, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't impress me on any other stints where like there are some magic cards or whatever professional art where it's like, man, that is friggin' sweet because of X and Y reason, and it captures me because of B and C. So yeah.
So Bern, do you compare all art just via magic cards nowadays?
When I try to think like professional art that I actually consume other than advertisements, I look at hundreds and thousands of magic cards like all the time. So
He's also spent the last 2 hours sleeving and unsleeving cards.
well, there's also like I had a conversation recently about BioShock Infinite with two friends of mine, and they were critiquing it and saying that they had fun playing BioShock Infinite, and they'll admit that, and they liked the game, but they didn't like a lot of aspects about it, and they had more critiques for it than they did compliments. And it had to do a lot with like storyline and kind of like the world they created and a couple other things. And yet I couldn't join them in on their critiques because like I had too much of an appreciation on how much of an adventure the game was and like its artistic merits and like the extremely unique experience in which it tried to provide, that I couldn't find like adequate critiques for anything from gameplay to story to experience, even though the ending was kind of wonky. Everyone admits that, but I think that was the purpose of it. And so like I think you both played BioShock Infinite, right?
I played like 5 hours of it, yeah.
Yeah, and so like and there was a lot of scenes in that game where they were just like professionally done really freaking well, and like I loved a lot. But like there's some other games that are done like professionally well, yet it's boring. It's bad because like this question is, why do you think that is? Like, why do you think something that is done professionally or technically excellent, like why do we find it boring? And it's because it lacks on certain areas that capture us visually, because like there was this professor, and he was speaking a little while ago, and what he said is that like art is it sets a trap for its viewer, and if you can't adequately trap your viewer with some form of like visual interest, then you failed at setting your trap, and you failed at creating that sort of art. So that's what I got for that. Yeah, you can answer if you got answers.
The only thing that I was going to say was we talk a lot on this show about artistic, not necessarily rules, but guidelines, tips, tricks, all of these different things that keep coming up. We talk about complementary colors and how they're used, and we talk about rule of thirds, and we talk about perspective and all these different things, which are all, technical things that you should take into consideration. But if all you ever do is follow rules with art, then you're missing out on the creative side of art. You're missing out on the heart of art. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that something that is technically excellent is inherently boring. I think the problem with a lot of pieces that are quote unquote technically excellent is that they don't have anything interesting about them. They just follow rules and don't give any expression to the piece, and that can be boring. So that's what I think about a lot of pieces.
Totally. I like that you use the word expression, because like the conversation that kind of sparked this question from Hunter Niff like had to do with expression and expressionist art.
Yeah. I was
Cool.
gonna say, isn't that like how the impressionist movement got started, kind of in a way? Because artists
in a
were
way,
kind of
it was
bored with like following the rules and guidelines of that era, and so they like decided to break the rules.
Yeah,
and
there's a
start
lot
going
to it,
outside
but it
and
was kind of
critiquing
a
things,
reaction
that they
to
had
that
an
and
actual,
like
like,
several other things, right?
like,
But it was an attempt to
outside.
capture something that is not visible, not tangible, right?
Yeah.
Like how do you express what you feel? And so expressionist art was like expressionist art was a way of expressing like one's like inner feelings, sometimes inner turmoil or inner love or whatever, right? A visual expression of what like the artist themselves was feeling like on the canvas. Yeah, rather than like a quote unquote technically excellent representation of something or a thing.
Cool. All right. Well, I pulled out one more question because I thought we had some time for one more question. So, are you guys up for it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. It's an easy one. It's by South Williams again, and they ask, "Have you ever played video games together?"
No, video games are boring. No. Yes,
games
of course.
are
Video
for
games are like
nerds.
cats.
No. Yeah, we have. We've
Totally.
played Cards Against Humanity. We played Halo together.
Yeah, I got crushed in playing
Joel
Halo.
Joel and I play Rocket League occasionally when I don't feel like winning because his internet sucks.
Rocket cars.
That's nothing against his particular skill level. It's just that he lives in Australia and I don't. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of lag.
We've played Civ together.
Ted and I have played Civ together. I feel like I've played something else with you, Bern, but I don't remember.
Hearthstone?
Yeah, Burned and I play Hearthstone, although that's kind of good, not really anymore, but for me anyways. Burned and I are super excited for Overwatch. Hype. So we're going to play that when that, eventually decides to let players who want to play it. I'm not bitter. And Ted and I are going to play at some point Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, which is a bomb defusing game, which is fun, but kind of niche. Joel, this doesn't really, no, that doesn't count because that's something he just played by himself. Trying to think of other stuff that we've played together.
Like Kerbals.
Yeah,
It's-
I know.
I feel like from like my example specifically, like the type of games I like to play are different than the type of games that you guys like to play. Like I'm usually like playing like Counter-Strike, or I used to play League a lot, and things like that, right? And so there's a disconnect
that's the
because you guys
thing, right?
play those
Like
games.
I've played League with you, Burned, like
Yeah,
one or two
same.
games, and then I immediately went, "Wow, I hate this game."
Well, it's played is maybe not the correct word, but I was showed you the game and like what you walked through the tutorial with me, or like a bot game for like
no,
a few
we
minutes.
we played two games together.
Which were bot games because you weren't level anything.
Are you sure? Because I played with you and a couple of other people, and it was pretty serious. So
Have you played League at all before we played together?
nope.
Yeah, so no. You couldn't
Okay.
have physically played an actual game. We just fought bots.
That's weird. Well, it was me and you and a couple of other people, and I didn't do anything. And I don't like MOBAs anyways. Or
Yeah,
is
it's
that a
fine.
MOBA?
Yep, it's MOBA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like MOBAs anyways. Ted and I played Heroes of the Storm. Didn't like
Yeah.
that either because it's a MOBA. So
I enjoyed that. I may try to play that again at some point. I may be playing Counter-Strike soon, at work actually.
oh really?
So,
Is there like a
yeah.
Counter-Strike group?
I guess someone asked IT, and they like if we could start doing LAN games of Counter-Strike, and they said yes. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Interesting.
See,
If you need pointers on how to wreck kids, let me know.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
the thing is, Burned, like, I would play Counter-Strike. It just doesn't, like, I played so much Counter-Strike in high school that I got bored of the game in general. So I think we do have a closer aligned
There's like
sense of gaming.
sure, there's mindsets, I suppose.
I have a pretty broad, because like I spent like so much of my life playing games, and I'm in school to make games basically. I hit every single genre at some point.
We played Battle Block Theater together too. That was fun.
We did play Battle Block Theater together.
We all played Minecraft.
We all played Minecraft.
Yeah, we all
together.
played Minecraft.
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure.
something
Yeah.
we played.
Yeah, absolutely. We played. Yeah, we
many
had like
different
a CAC.
mods and stuff.
Oh, so many, and we had so many different mods. And Burned would be a champion. Burned is just like, I want to come in and spend the next 3 hours mining. And we'd be like, yeah, okay, none of us want to do that. Go ahead. Like, tell me what you want, and I'll go get 20 of it.
Yeah, it's all I wanted to do, man.
It's
Like,
great.
it's funny because, like, I can be creative, but when it comes to Minecraft and, like, building creative junk, I still want to do I don't
Yeah,
want
but
to build
you're
a
great
house
at
and, like,
resource
a
collecting.
base and all that crap. Just, like, give me a hole. Go pick it.
Yeah. I think that's basically it. But I mean, a lot of that was like a couple of years ago. Minecraft especially was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Battle Block was a year ago. So yeah, the stuff recently, Overwatch, Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, Civ, Rocket League, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All those games. I'm trying to think of like what would be popular right now that like people would want to hear that we were playing or not playing. We don't play League together. Burn plays League. Burn
I
plays.
haven't played it in a long
CS:GO.
time, but I like League. I like CSGO. I'm going to be playing Fallout as soon as I get bloody time.
Yeah, but that's not really a multiplayer game.
Nah, but it's a game.
It is a game. You are correct. All right. Speaking of games, don't play games with my heart burned.
I feel like if
Give
we
me the
all play
plugs.
the same single player game, it can kind of be like we're playing together. Like, yeah, we're not in the same game
In a way, yeah.
like thing, but it's like we all liked, say, like Skyrim or something if we played that
Right.
or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
we all kind of
I
like-
totally get where you're coming, because you can kind of share experiences as you're exploring.
Yeah, because I have like
together.
5 or 6 friends who are all playing Fallout right now, and they all want to talk about it and stuff.
Well,
Go
it's
away.
kind of in the same way that you and I burned. We just talked before this podcast about Overwatch. We haven't actually sat down and like watched. We can't play the game together, and like we haven't watched the game together. But as soon as we started talking about it, like we both knew exactly what each other were talking about and had the same mentality. So in a similar way, it's kind of like that.
All right.
So
Anywho, plug arenas. We have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Cutie Art Crusaders. We have a Tumblr, which is cutieartcrusaders.tumblr. We have a DeviantArt, which is cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com. And we have a Picardo, which is Picardo TV /Cutie Art Crusaders. Picardo.tv/Cutie Art Crusaders. And then we have a Twitter, which is at Cutie Art Crusade. And I believe... Oh, and an email, which is cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com. There you go.
I am impressed with your initiative. Your training is going well. Training you like a dog to do the plugs now.
Wow.
Bark, bark.
All right. Well, that is everything for this week, guys. I can't think of anything else to say. We have a spoiler cast tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to be around to do that, but I might be able to. So we'll see. But we'll have a spoiler cast at some point, I'm sure.
It
Something
could
like
just be
that.
Joel talking to himself again. You know, you never know.
Hopefully, it'll be better. Hopefully, it'll be better than last week's episode. If you want to hear two people rant about My Little Pony for 20 minutes, go watch last week's spoiler cast.
What was last week's episode?
That was fun. It was the Discord one.
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Burned?
I don't think so.
All right. Well then,
Wow.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, I was at the GP. Sorry, I was playing Magic.
Yeah,
That's true. Nerds.
that's true.
I couldn't stick around in the stream. How did people react to the spoiler cast?
I didn't air the spoiler cast. I just aired
Oh.
the episode and told everyone to go to YouTube for the spoiler cast, because I
I'll
forgot there was a
check it out.
spoiler cast, and then I was like, oh, well, forget that.
Fudge
I'll go
it.
check the comments.
I sweet deal.
All right.
Lol.
Well, that is everything for this week, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Joel will be back next week, I assume, at some point. So
Maybe.
he's just having internet troubles, so
Me
Happens.
too.
happens. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Whether or not you're on the live stream or on YouTube, we love you all the same, or at least we say so, deep in our hearts. You know the truth. Anyways, my name is Rainbow Plasma,
My name's Burn.
I'm Flutterguy317.
and you guys lied to me about your names at the beginning. Liars.
I am Bajorn.
Liars.
Yes.
I'm Fluffler Guy.
Bajorned hard.
This episode's over. It's done.
Oh. Bye.
You're a disgusting human being.